of what that is. As far as why are we practicing Judaism if we're followers of Christ, one of the things that I really love about looking and learning about Jesus is he came to usher in a new way of being. I mean, he was overturning tables. He was calling the Pharisees, who were the priests, he was calling them out. He was saying, you're hypocrites. This isn't the way that you need to be. You're being a burden to your own people. Your people are suffering underneath your laws, right? Underneath your purity laws. And you're driven by greed. So I think, if we're saying that we're followers of Christ, true followers of Christ, in my humble opinion, are those that are concerned about their brothers and their sisters, who are concerned about being equal, who are concerned about do they have enough food, housing, whatever else. Followers of Christianity has become so bastardized that we're following these rules that were made up by these patriarchs eons ago. And a lot of them are not following what Christ was doing. If I'm a follower of Christ, what am I going to do? Am I going to be sitting in judgment of someone, or am I going to be inviting them in to break bread with me? Because that's what he did.
Yeah, Jesus pretty much said three things, right? You can just summarize all of his teachings into three things. Take care of people that can't take care of themselves. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And everything else he taught could pretty much be filed under don't be an asshole, right? And I would do, right? I mean,
I like your interpretation. That was good. I gotta give you props for that.
That's good. Don't be an asshole.
There's not much more than those three things that he taught, if anything. And in that way,
I want someone to print that Bible. It's just one sheet.
Oh, wait, I'm halfway through it. Don't spoil it, okay? No, I'm just kidding.
One sheet, 3 lines. See, so now this is where I have a problem with it, because if it really condenses that easily into what we're all saying, then it's unnecessary. If it's all just our interpretation and everything about religion is just man-made and it really doesn't apply anyway, then what the fuck is the point? It's right. It's no good for anything. It's a bedtime story. We don't need it, and therefore we can get rid of the Bible. We can get rid of the book. We can say no, it's all just our interpretation, and most Christians get it wrong. Certain Christians get it right, but they don't know it's right yet. And well, then what the hell? Get rid of the whole goddamn thing. We don't need it. I've always maintained we don't need the 10 Commandments. We didn't need this book to tell us those 10 things were wrong. I think we inherently know that those 10 things are wrong. I think with or without Christianity, we would know it's wrong to kill each other. It's wrong to steal each other's shit. It's some of them
don't screw your buddy's wife.
So yeah,
we know that.
And it sounds to me like what I'm getting from you guys is that we can scrap the whole thing. The church is wrong. The leaders of the church are wrong. Every sect is misinterpreting it. Then it's pointless. We're all playing the game by our own rules. Then throw out the rules. We don't need them.
You got my vote.
That's yeah.
Well, I think that it's very easy to do that. I mean, at one point in my life, I considered myself an atheist and then an agnostic, so it's very easy to say, let's just throw everything out. And so my question is, we can do that.
I'm by no means an atheist, but if we're all wrong, or we're so unable to understand this supposed higher power, then Christianity by definition is so flawed that it's absolutely useless, because it's obviously wrong.
And maybe there isn't a right or wrong. Maybe this has been humanity's way of figuring out a way to connect. And in the earlier days, they needed some rules and regulations. That's part of
that's an easy
evolution.
Thing that Christians do. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but that's an easy thing Christians do is they go, oh, this was old-timey, and it doesn't apply anymore. Well, no, we're by definition, Christians are saying this applies now. And we can't say, 2,000 years ago they needed this, and now they don't. Well, then, they've been wrong that whole time.
Well, when you look at a lot of, like, the Jewish purity laws, they were about keeping people healthy and safe. You know, the mixing of different kinds of meats and dairy and whatever else, that was all about safety because they didn't really know. So what I'm saying to you is there is an evolution in human consciousness from being this rigid, rule-driven, and that's how they then create God in their image. It's not the other way around. Religion is about creating God in our image. And so for me, what I'm saying to you is you can throw everything out that you want, but it's about that individual connection.
That's what I mean. If it's about the individual connection, then organized religion is superfluous. At the end of the day, a book club in the book is correct. And we all find, if you're in a book club and you read the book and at the end of the book the butler did it, then you all have to agree, yeah, the butler did it. The book says so. But what we're saying is it's so individual and it's so... then getting together in the group doesn't solve anything. Because then you're going to have 30 individual opinions or 100 individual opinions, and then it becomes thousands of individual opinions. But at the end of the day, only your individual connection is what matters. Then this makes my whole mission a lot easier, because I think something that's so morally corrupt as the Vatican is gone far too long and far too far in their own direction, and should be eliminated. I fully believe the Vatican should be eliminated. I think it's the root of most of the evil in the world. And if you're correct, Cherie, then we can do that. Because Catholicism is unnecessary.
Well, you can say that it's unnecessary. In my humble opinion, I probably agree with you. I'm not pro-Vatican, so there we are. I think it's a patriarchal society that's based on hierarchy that has become so corrupt it's lost its way. But that doesn't mean that when human beings get together energetically, I'm not talking about opinions. So you're making it on this logical, absolute mathematic perspective. And what I'm saying is that if we are all energy beings, then we need each other. We find comfort in connecting with each other energetically. And if we are doing that work for the passion of the realization of the truth of what we are, divine human beings, then we get to magnify that. We get to shift from the systems that are broken here or the rules and regs that no longer work for mankind in general, and we get to start saying, well, let's create something different.
But that excuses all kinds of
if we get rid of the
behavior.
Vatican...
That excuses everything, because I connect by raping children, and I'm going to buy a big ranch in Montana, in the middle of Montana, and I'm going to invite you to bring your kids there so I can fucking defile them. And this is how I connect on my individual way, and my God tells me that that's right. And you can't, Eric, by your own argument, you can't tell me I'm wrong, because you don't know.
First, I hear your passion about this. Second, I would love if you don't cut over me, because that's not respectful. So I'd appreciate that, and I allow you to vent as much as you need. That's fine. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we are all accountable for our behaviors. So if my behavior harms another being, I'm accountable for that. And here's the thing, and I am still a divine human being. I may have forgotten that truth, like so many of us have on this realm. We get here and we forget the truth of what we are. We think our physical body and our sexual gratification or greed or money or consumerism is all that there is. And I'm saying that that's not the truth. The truth is we are divine human beings. People do fucked up things. That's right. I said it. People do fucked up things. But that's on them. That's on them, and they have to be held accountable for that.
Which, I mean, for the most part,
I'm not saying what you interpreted me to say. Please hear that.
But people do messed up things. But in my opinion, now I'm just playing a character here. In my opinion, what I do isn't messed up. So your interpretation of what's right and wrong is incorrect. Mine is correct. How do you?
But that's just a matter of doing the difference between the laws of the land, though.
That's called mental illness and a bunch of other things. So people lose their way. Yes, they do. And they're accountable, and they're divine human, and there's such a thing as forgiveness and grace. They all exist simultaneously. You know, we try to put this whole black and white, right, wrong, evil and good in perspective, and the reality is, if I'm human, I'm all aspects of the human spectrum. There's obviously an aspect of me that could be a rapist, depending on the condition of my environment that I'm raised in. So it's when we point our fingers and we say these people are horrible, and the behavior is horrible, yes, but that doesn't mean that they themselves are horrible. That's my belief. I could be completely screwed up and wrong. I could be off the funny farm, didn't take my meds today. But, you know, I really do believe that we're called, that right now we're all here on this planet to shift consciousness. We are here right now to say, you know what? Religion, this man-made construct, doesn't serve us anymore. Let's create from the divine within.
Well, that's beautiful. That's exactly what I've wanted my entire life. I guess I've been more enlightened than I thought I was, because that's been my whole contention, was that we need to shift away from organized religion. And it sounds like even a Christian minister also feels that way. Then why can't we just move in that direction? What's the
let me, if
money,
I could,
power, and control.
Yeah, it's good. Like, that's the easiest thing. Is religion? Almost every religion is at this stage of the game is based off of the mighty dollar. Mm-hmm. It's dollar and numbers. That's it. It's got nothing to do with anything else. If it did, you wouldn't see a lot of the shit that's going on being allowed to go on. I do see a massive shift in a lot of people that are going from religious belief to spiritual belief, which is, again, kind of that basic thing that I kind of believe in, which is the energy that binds us, not as much as it's a god, as much as it's just the energy of creation.
The majority of people still believe in God as he is described in the Bible. Still a majority of people.
But they've been raised...
In the next 50 years, that's not predicted to change. Christianity is still going to grow, and will, in 50 years from now, will still be a third of the Earth's population believing in the God as it's described in the Bible.
I don't think it is going to grow, and the numbers aren't actually necessarily still growing anymore. The numbers are dwindling with the churches. They're actually dropping.
That's what what everyone likes to think, but actually there's very insignificant amount of change. It's been fairly consistent. That this drop that people will see around them isn't actually happening.
Well, I'll chime in on that one, and I can tell you from my own experiences and talking to lots of ministers, and I do a lot of interfaith connecting, churches are dwindling. They are closing.